Good morning and welcome to this weekly market update from MRC Markets. Today is the 6th of December 2013. What we'll do today is go through some technical analysis on Euro, Dollar, Cable, Dollar, Swiss, Aussie and Gold. Just going to review what's been going on in the markets this week. Just go through any interesting setups that are in play. And that should influence the markets going into next week as well. We may do a video next Monday or Friday. I mean, I normally do a Monday or Friday. Friday if it's a sort of review, or Monday if it's a sort of outlook into the week. So okay. For any new followers, we have 3 moving averages in each of these charts. The red one is a 50 simple, the purple is a 100 simple moving average, and the gold is a 200 simple. I will not make any trade calls or recommendations in this video. Trade at your own risk. If you could please read a full disclaimer on our website, which is www.mrcmarkets.com. Okay, then this is the Euro Dollar charts. This is the weekly. It's good to keep. I mean, we'll only briefly look at the weeklies. We like to, as it's a sort of weekly video, we don't want to dwell too much on the longer term time frames as much. But there's some interesting setups that are still in play. For example, this fib here. On the Euro Dollar, so this is the weekly from, we've spoken about this before, it's good to keep it in mind. So that's from the fib of the high of 2011 to the low of 2012. Sellers are still trying to bring this down. Well, they initially came in at the 61.8, brought it down, but we've bounced up off this 200 SMA, and we're now above, we're above the 50% retracement as well. So it looks like it's grinding higher. Sellers, a lot of long-term players probably have stops behind the 61.8, so if we do get above these highs, then it really could fly up, but we're still a long way away from that, of course. And then the other one on the weekly really is this here from, well, I mean, you can use that low there or that one here, the recent sort of swing I suppose would be that there. This one here, which would also speak out on the daily chart, is flipped to that. But the reason I've got it on the weekly here is because of that 200 SMA, so it's a lovely confluence off of the 50% retracement from pretty much the low of the year, 200 SMA confluence, and we're rotating higher. Then if we flip that to the daily, I mean, we've spoken about this in the last couple of weeks videos really, because it is a very, very key chart, very, very technical chart. So buyers coming in at this 50% retrace pretty much to the pip, and it's just been grinding high really for the last sort of few weeks. This week it's been doing the same thing really. You can see yesterday's daily candle, very, very bullish indeed. We came back down, tested 50 SMA, and we've got a nice bit of support, and it's just grinding higher. It looks like it's going to continue to grind higher all the way to these 1.3832s, and that would be the move pretty much complete. I mean, some say the move will be complete when it's hit one of these like extensions. So let's say if you add a minus 0.26 extension, that'll be the first sort of target really, a break of a break of the high, and then to make another high, and then you'd sort of extend your fib from that low to the sort of next high up here, for example. So then, and the other side really, what's been going this week, well, I mean, where sellers have been trying to come in at was this fib here. So we initially, zoom in a bit, so initially came in at the 61.8, tried coming in, well, front run actually didn't quite hit to the pip, brought it back down a bit, and but buyers continued to come in. So this fib is technically, it's just not in play really. I mean, I suppose for people who look at the sort of 78.6, then you could use that for the next sort of sell zone if we get up there, but they don't tend to hold as well, in my opinion, as the 61.8 or the 50%. So that's the other one. That comes at the 1.37. So there's still some key levels above this, but in order for it to get to the 0%, key levels to keep an eye out for would be 137 definitely. Just the key sort of round numbers really. So you got 137, 137.50, it's 138. They're the key sort of resistances that will be in the way. Also, if you look to your left here, you can see previous high, big spike high on this euro dollar, and that we had a big sell off there. So that's this 137s should be a very key level here. If we, of course, we have NFP out today, so if that's a weaker number, then I wouldn't be surprised to see euro dollar pop up. But we had some very strong data out of the US yesterday, which initially brought the pair down, and then Draghi came out and pushed it back up higher. So yes, if we have a weak NFP today, then definitely see that 137s get tested. Okay then, well, let's have another look in terms of the euro dollar in terms of shorter term. So if we flip it down to the 4 hour, and then you've got a nice trend line here. Some people like to bring it out there to the tips. If you want to bring it in a bit, then you can see we don't have a 4 hour close. Well, we have actually, so if you look at the daily, having a daily close below that level, so that'll technically be the trend line there. In terms of shorter term dips, well, because this was a nice fib here. Remember we spoke about that from that low. So someone should delete the extension, so it may confuse people. Yes, so that was one there from the 7th of November low to that high there. We came off the 61.8 rotated high. That was a nice move. This one here wasn't. It didn't come down to the 50%, but still a nice dip. Nice trend line support there. See, it came off. So the next one, in terms of shorter term moves, people will probably be looking at this low here, or maybe even that low. So that fib there. But of course, I probably prefer to look for it to come down to the trend line, to be honest with you. And I don't really like bringing it in either. So yes, that's not the greatest fib, but hey, it still could end up being quite good. And of course with the 50 SMA as well, so keep an eye out on that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the euro dollar. Let's have a look at cable. Cable's still been grinding higher. This is the weekly chart. We spoke about in last week's video about these sort of 2012 highs. We're now above them, so yearly highs on cable. And it really is just in grind higher mode. You can see last week's weekly candle very bullish. We've had last 4 weekly candles have been nice green candles. We've come all the way up from sort of 160s all the way up to sort of 164. So we're talking about 100 pip moves each week on cable. But this week it started to retrace a little bit. Form a sort of doji candle, where it's slightly red at the minute, but it could just be a little retracement candle, to be honest with you. But if you flip it to the daily, I do think it is due a retracement. Definitely some sort of dip. And if you look at the 4 hour, the one that I'm keeping out for is this one here, this fib setup, because the 50% lines up with these previous supports. Previous support around here, which is also previous resistance over here. So keep an eye on that, and it also lines up with the 200 SMA as well. Of course, it doesn't have to come down to that. You can see it's currently getting supported by the 50 SMA on this 4 hour, and it's trying to grind higher. But that's one interesting fib to keep an eye out for. If you look at the daily, we're a long way away off these moving averages as well. And also, yeah, we spoke about on that 4 hour quickly, the 200 SMA line up with the 50%. If you flip it to the daily, the 50 DMA is coming up around these levels as well. Of course, it could come back down and just smash through those supports, and if so, the bigger fib, of course, a long way away still, but that the 200 DMA comes at the 156s. But no, cable's been very bullish, really is in grind higher mode, and you can see it may not even bother retracing down to it. Could just keep, especially for a weak NFP number today as well, it could just rip up higher and take out stops above these highs at the 164.40s. Okay, let's have a look at the dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, it really is starting to grind lower. If we flip the weekly, it's not that interesting, to be honest with you. Let's look at the daily. We've spoken about it's just been making lower highs. This was a nice setup. think we spoke about last week's video. Yeah, nice retracement after the 61.8, and it's sort of rotating towards the downside. Looks like the low is going to get taken out, to be honest with you, at 0.8890s. Any shorter term players, if you look at the 4 hour, 4 hour has been really technical. This was one fib here off the 61.8, rotated towards the downside, and if you extend the low, and then extend the higher the fib to where we came off the 50%, and extend it to that low, you can see we came off to the 50%, so the pip rotated towards the downside. So in the next one I'd personally look out, if we get some sort of bounce towards the upside, some sort of slow retracement towards the upside, then that'll be the next one to look out for. You can see the 50% lines up with previous resistance around here, so previous spike. There you can probably see it clear on the 1 hour, or even the 30-minute. You can see sellers coming in this sort of 50%, 61.8% zone. This looks better on the 1 hour actually. So yeah, that's the dollar Swiss really. It's just very bearish, continuing to sort of grind lower. I mean, of course it's the end of the week, so it could just sort of grind up high and trickle up today, although we do have an NFP, so it'll be it's all about NFP really. If we get a good number, then then it should rotate up towards this 50% level and keep an eye on the action next. Then we can just get another reversal and sellers come back in and bring it back down. So yeah, interesting chart, that very technical. Aussie, it still was, speaking about the last sort of few weeks videos, really it's the same thing. Nothing has changed. This fib here from the yearly high to the yearly low, sellers coming in, lovely weekly reversal candle there of the 50% at the 0.9714s, and we've just had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weekly candles in a row, just bare candles, and it's just rotating towards the downside. We spoke about the fib from the other direction, which buyers will be looking to push it back up, but they failed miserably, and that fib is well out of play now. Or I suppose if you look at the sort of the 78.6 or the 76.4, then I think that's coming in around these levels here. Yeah, it is indeed. So if we get a weekly, we could get a bullish candle for you. You never know. I think NFP would definitely be key. So definitely be key for a weekly reversal here. So if we get a weak number, I'd say it should be weak for the dollar, and we could get a hammer coming off here. So you never know. That's why the weekly closes are really interesting, and then they can just completely change things. So if we do get a weak number today, then I think I'll probably do a video on Monday, because we could get some really interesting setups in play. So yeah, keep an eye on that. And that's pretty much it in terms of the Aussie really. I mean, in terms of the daily, you can use the same fib. Yeah, so yesterday, nice daily candle close above this 78.6, and also key level of what we've come up off here, the 0.90 handle. So yeah, lovely technical action there, pretty much to the pip. Nice reversal, a daily candle close above the 78.6. So yeah, a lot of long-term swing buyers I think will be in this setup looking to grind higher. The first sort of target will be the 61.8, I'd have thought, because that was previous resistance around there. You could also look to the left here as well, previous resistance as well. But yeah, of course, as I said, the weekly candle close will definitely be key on this one, because if you get a weekly hammer, then that'd be a very interesting bullish setup, I'd have thought. Okay, that's the Forex done. Let's have a look at gold. I've left this up from last week because nothing's changed. It's just been a very choppy chart. Really hasn't been that interesting in my opinion, and it's all about the sort of playing the round numbers really. I'll just zoom in so you can see it clearer. 1250s acting as key resistance here, so we had a little pop up, tested the 1250s, and it came back down. Looks like it may want to do it again, because we've had some we've put in some lower wicks on these daily candles. You can see there's key, why it was key resistance, because it was also key support around here. So previous support turning into resistance, classic technical analysis that. And that's all that's really going on in gold. I mean, we had this fib here. Yes, we had that fib here on gold from that high to the low, came back up, and sellers came in at this sort of confluence area of the 50% retracement, the 61.8, and these sort of 1250s. So an interesting sort of zone there, and sellers pushed that back down. So if we do get a rotation towards the upside, then that'll be the next fib I'm looking at. So the highs from where we've sold off at that 50%, and the 50% on this one comes at the 1285s, and that also comes in around this 50-day moving average currently. So that should be an interesting one, but that may not even be in play towards next week's video. So, well, I suppose if we have a weak NFP number, then gold could pop up and test that today. There's nothing stopping that happening really. So keep an eye out on that. And that's all for today. Hope you found that video useful. If there's any other pairs that you want to have a look at next week, then feel free to comment under the YouTube video, or send us a tweet to our Twitter feed, which is at MRC_markets. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the week trading. I'll catch you next week. Thank you.